So children, we have been working on Excel and we have already learned in the previous class that how to start Excel 2016, the basic worksheet and the workbook concept, moving around the spreadsheet, types of data and working with the worksheet. Now moving ahead with the learning process, see what I have brought for you today. Today we'll be learning about different features of MS Excel 2016, the components of the worksheet, how to enter the data, performing the calculations, and how to save the workbook. So, are you ready to begin? Good. Now, come on. First, I'm going to tell you that what is Microsoft Excel. Children, Microsoft Excel is a popular spreadsheet software which was developed by Microsoft for the Windows, for Mac operating system, for Android and iOS as well. Children, Microsoft Excel is a software program that was produced by Microsoft that allows the user to organize, to format and even calculate the data with formulas using an electronic worksheet spreadsheet system, which is a big sheet on which we have rows and columns, and the combination of rows and columns is called a cell. Now the data in the spreadsheet is presented in the tabular form, which and this makes the rows and columns. Okay, and it also provides certain inbuilt features and tools which can help your working easy by using different formulas, functions, data analysis tools, and it makes you easy to even handle large amount of data. So when you work on Excel, it basically help you to do different analysis, which can be like what if analysis, making the graph, making the pictographs, so that the analysis of the data that you have created on the spreadsheet is becoming more easy and presentable. Right? Now let's talk about how to start Excel 2016. Children, to begin your work on this Excel 2016, we will first click on the start button. You know, here we have a start button, and then you click on Excel 2016. This is a logo of Excel 2016, this green one, and then on starting MS Excel 2016, the start screen appears. So first thing you have to do is you are going to select a blank workbook. Okay, and this new blank workbook will be named as book 1, which will be opening for you. I'll just show you how it looks like when you open the book. So this is a blank workbook and it opens for you. Here you have numbers, we have alphabets on the top. So we call these as rows, we call them as columns, and lot more to learn. So we move ahead. Now first thing I'm going to tell you what are the features of MS Excel 2016. So the most important feature is that it allows us to keep the header and footer in our spreadsheet. What does it mean? Suppose your spreadsheet is say 50 pages long, and now there exists a heading which you want to display on the top of every page. So that means you need not to write it every time. Just do the setting. This has to come in the header, this has to come in the footer, and the entire work is done automatically. Right? And after that, MS Excel allow us to find the needed data, that is text and numbers in the workbook, and then it also replace the existing data with the new one. Suppose you created the Excel for 1 month, and now the same sort of Excel has to be created in the next month, and certain changes are to be made. So we have find and replace feature in it, which will help you to find the data, and wherever it occurs in your entire sheet will get replaced with the new data. So it just saves your time, energy, power, and to make the entire sheet time and again, and the duplication is done very easily. Moreover, MS Excel allow you to protect our workbooks by using password, by providing the unauthorized access. That means for every workbook, you can give the password, and until you break that password, until you type that password, you won't be able to enter the worksheet. That means it helps you to keep the privacy of your data. Now moving ahead, we have filtering. It is a quick and easy way to find and work with the subset of data in the given range. So first you'll select the range, and in that you need to filter the criteria. Suppose we are making a data, entire sheet of the students who scored marks in different subjects, and after that you want to just make the list of the children who could not score 40, or sometime you want to make the list of the toppers, all the children who scored more than 90% marks. So we have to just use the filtering feature, which will filter those children, and the list that will be appearing on the screen will contain only the students which belong to that filtered category. After that, we have a formatting feature. It improves the appearance of the data. Of course, when you have to present anything, it must be presentable. So giving a good face to your worksheet is another very important feature that is available with us in your Excel 2016. Apart from that, MS Excel has got many inbuilt formulas. Like suppose you want to add some data, we have sum. Then you need to calculate the average. You want to find which is the minimum number in the given data, maximum, and lots more. So we have some inbuilt formulas, and we can use these formulas as per our requirement wherever you need it, right? Then we have another feature that is called quick data entry. Children, quick data entry can be done in the large series of cells by using autofill option. So this autofill option will help you to enter your data quickly, and the data can be viewed in the graphical form. Like if you want to see the data in the form of charts, some tables, which will help you to do the analysis work quickly. And because you know, when the data is presented in bar graph, pictograph, or scattered graph, there are so many graphs available there. So they help you to do the analysis, and the comparison of your data is done in more effective manner. So this way you came to know that what are the different features of the application which you are going to learn today. And now we go to the basic worksheet, right? And what is basic worksheet and workbook concept? So children, in the Excel window that appears on the screen, we call it a workbook. Remember, so when you open a workbook, you select a blank workbook, and the workbook that opens first time on the screen, we call it workbook. And then it is assigned a temporary name, that is book 1, which will appear on the top of it. So every time when you open a book, a blank book is there, that is the name given by the system itself, that is book 1, which could be changed as per your requirement. Okay. Children, what is workbook? It is like a notebook, and in notebook we have different pages. Similarly, your workbooks also have different pages, and each page is given a name worksheet. So when you work on a first page that appears on the screen, at the bottom of it, it will be written sheet 1. That means this is the first page of your book, of your workbook, right? Now the worksheet is a grid-like area. Can you see it here? So this is a worksheet which appear on the screen and here on the bottom left, because it is the first sheet of your book 1. Here it is written book 1. So that means this book 1 has this entire sheet as the first sheet. So here we can see sheet 1 is written. And on this sheet, could you see these are different cells. Now what is cell? I'll just explain you. But before talking to the cell, we will talk about these are columns. First column, second column, we call it column A, column B, column C, like this. And then we have these rows, row 1, row 2, row 3. This way we have different rows. Now combination of rows make a cell, right? So I'll just erase it. It will be more clear to you. So when you talk about a cell, here you could see a box is there. So when you want to name this box, what will you do? We will first see what is the column. This is D column. And here what is the row? This is 5. So this cell is called the active cell, where you have a pointer, and we call this cell as D5. And you could see there is a name box. In this name box, this particular cell name is coming. Now, if you move it somewhere else, suppose I bring it here, so this part will get highlighted. Okay, now this is B and 4. So here in the cell name box, you will get B4. So this way, your pointer could be, like mouse pointer could be moved at any place wherever you need to write. And this cell name, this name box indicates that whatever work you are going to do right away, that particular work will go in this particular cell. Okay. Now we talk about the worksheet, that how many cells and columns actually exist in a worksheet. So children, always remember, it is the number of rows. Can you speak it out? What number of rows are there? Ones, tens, 100, 1,000, 10,000, lakh, 10 lakh? Yes, it is 10 lakh. 48,576 rows. So that means if you keep scrolling down, the story will not end for you. You have to you have to just scroll down up to 10 lakh, and then your entire worksheet will be visible. Okay. In the same way, when you talk about columns, we have 16,384 columns. And now these columns are named as A, B, C, D, E, F, and the story goes on. Now what happens when Z comes? I'm going to reveal the suspense. Wait a little longer. Okay. So now at the top you could see this tab, and here these different options like you have seen with MS Word could be visible for you. Okay. So here this is your file tab. Then we have home tab, and we can use different features which are required. Now next thing we have is the status bar at the bottom. So status bar actually shows you the current status of your file, and moreover here you have your worksheet for options are there. Now moving ahead, we will just see that yes, what are the different components of the worksheet? So I'll just explain you a bit about the cell. Cell is the intersection of column and row in the worksheet. So every time whatever the cell is selected and whatever data you write inside it goes to that selected cell, and that is called the cell address where you are storing the data. So here we have given the example, Suppose you have A7 as cell address, so that means A and 7th row, the first column and the 7th row is going to store that data. Okay. And then how much data can come in one cell? That's another question. So you can have almost 32,767 characters that can be stored in one cell. Now, what is active cell? Active cell is like when you are typing something from the keyboard where that particular typed alphabets, characters, numbers are actually going. So, whichever cell is selected at a moment, that is called active cell. So, it helps you to identify what cell is being worked with and where the data is getting entered. That's called the active cell. And how will you recognize the active cell? If you look at the worksheet, you will find one cell which is which has a boundary of dark black color, which is different from all other cells. So that cell tell you that this cell is a active cell, and you can change the active cell, children. So if you just hover the mouse on the sheet and wherever you take the pointer and click there, so that particular cell becomes the active cell. And what is range? Sometimes it happens that you want to select more than one cell. And I'll just show you over here. So could you see, this is the active cell, right? And here this is your range. Now what is the range? Let's see. It is C7. So range is starting from C7 and it's going up to E7. So we could see that here one cell is not selected, but we have 3 cells. It can be any number of cells, and it can be even more than one row, more than one column. So whatever part you want to select, that particular selected part becomes the range. Got it? And then after that, so here we have taken A1 to A10. That means from A1 to A10, that particular part will be highlighted on the screen, and that becomes the highlighted area, that is selected area of the range. Now range is, we have already done range, we come to the formula bar. Now children, formula bar is located to the right of name box. I have shown you the name box. So what is name box? Where at the top, this is the name box, and then we have the formula box here. So whatever formula you are going to apply, that formula is written here, and the corresponding values are stored in the particular block. Okay. So moving ahead, now name box is clear, row heading is clear to you. So when you talk about row heading, this is, I've already told you, we have, it starts from 1 and it goes up to 576 are the numbers which you could see as the number of rows. Now what about columns? I told you after A, B, C, D, when you reach Z, so after Z you will get A, B, like this, A, B, A, C, A, D, and it goes up to AZ. Now when AZ is over, then we come to BA, BB, BC, BD, like this, the story keeps on going. Okay, and in this way your numbering of all the columns is done. And status bar, we have already discussed, it is located at the bottom of the Excel sheet, and it shows you what is the currently selected sheet and what are the commands which you are giving on your sheet, right? Now we have arrow keys which are very useful to move around the spreadsheet. Children, when you have to input the data inside your spreadsheet, of course you have to move from one cell to another cell. So to input the data in the sheet, when you need to move the cell pointer from one cell to another, we have various keys which help you to move from one location, from one cell to another cell. So first is we have these 4 arrow keys. When you press to the right arrow, it moves the your selected cell towards right direction. It moves one cell right. Okay. In the same way, when you put the left arrow, it moves you to one column left. Okay. And here when you move to right or left, make sure only the columns are changing. Like if it is on A, it goes to B, it goes to C, but the rows remain same. Rows are not changing. Okay. But now when you are pressing down arrow and up arrow, here columns are not changing. Here only your up and down movement is happening. So every time when you click on the down arrow, it moves you one row down, and when you press on the up arrow, it goes one row up. Okay, it's written reverse, just work on it. Okay, then what is page up and page down? It moves the active cell, which is what is page down? What is page up, children? It moves the active cell which is highlighted to the first row of the spreadsheet, and it can be used as the alternative to scroll up. So like we have scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. So every time it helps you to scroll one page up. In the same way, you have page down button. When you click on page down, every time, every click will take you one page down the screen. Okay, so make sure if you want to move down, you are going to press page down, and when you want to move up towards the upward direction of your screen, of your worksheet, you are going to press page up. Then we have 2 more very interesting features, and they are control home and control end. Suppose you have reached 20th page or 30th page, any page number, by just scrolling down, 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 and you need to go back to the first cell of your worksheet, then you will quickly press Control plus Home. So Control plus Home is a command which moves the cell pointer to the first cell of the topmost row, that is first row and first column. So you will immediately see your selected cell as A1. And in the same way, when you press Control plus End, it will move the cell pointer to the last used cell. You will not go to the last cell of your worksheet, but you will reach at the end of your text, of your document, of your spreadsheet on which you have really worked on. Okay, so very interesting feature, and make sure that you keep on using them to make your work done more effectively and more efficiently. So lot more to learn. The story doesn't end here, but yes, that would be done in the second video of the same chapter. Till then, happy learning and see you again.